From South Carolina Public Radio, this is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. Hi, I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray, and this week we're flipping through the pages of the history of children's literature.
Stick around for quizzes about celebrities who have written kids' books, fantastic stories from the life of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory author Roald Dahl. Plus, we'll also speak with two educators about the importance of children's literature and the current landscape of kids' books.
If that sounds like fun and you want to join us for these games, just call or text us, 803-470-6347. That's 803-470-6347. Or send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org. You'll get a shot at the title of Who What When Champion of the Week and our very special trophy, a Who What When fanny pack.
That's right, Brandon. I'm really looking forward to today's show in particular. You and I both have kids and have read our fair share of children's books over the years.
Absolutely, Dano. And I've always adored that time with my kiddos. And a big part of my enjoyment is getting to experience some of the wonderful writings and art that you can find in kids' books. I'm thinking of books like Where the Wild Things Are by Marie Sindak and The Polar Express, of course, by Chris Van Allsburg.
You really hit it right on the nose with those two picks, Brand. Those are great examples. Not only are they classic works of children's literature, but they're also both Caldecott Award winners.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that on this little seal on the front covers, but I wasn't sure what in the world that meant, Dan. What does it mean?
So glad you asked, Brand. The Caldecott Medal is presented annually by the American Library Association to honor excellence in illustration. Each year, the ALA chooses an artist whose work they consider the most distinguished picture book for kids that year. Along with Where the Wild Things Are and Polar Express, there are other winners like The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats, and more recent ones like This Is Not My Hat by John Clausen.
Oh, Dan, those are two more great books. So when did they start giving out this award, Dano?
The first Caldecott Medal was presented in 1938 to an artist named Dorothy P. Lathrop for her book Animals of the Bible.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick congrats to Dorothy.
Shout out, Dorothy.
Shout out.
This was about 16 years after the American Library Association began awarding children's books authors with another accolade you might recognize, the Newbery Medal. Both were named after very influential figures in the 19th century English publishing, Randolph Caldecott and John Newbery.
Dan, I can always count on you for a wonderful little history lesson. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bran. Of course, no problem. Now, how about we get to the games?
Now that, Dan, is an idea that deserves a medal, my friend. We've got two contestants ready to go. Contestant number one, what's your name and where are you from?
Hey, my name is Ray. I'm from Rahway, New Jersey.
Ooh. Ray from Rahway. Ray from Rahway, New Jersey.
Up Rahway.
Up Rahway. That's right.
Ray, you got a favorite children's book?
Oh, man.
I know. I know.
It's been a long time since I've been a child. I would say, always had a soft spot for Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, yeah. A classic.
Dude, that caterpillar
classic.
Was nuts.
So stinking hungry. You may hear more about that later on this program. Not to get ahead of ourselves.
Don't give him that one.
That's exactly. There's nothing I can do. I mean, the questions are written. The die has been cast.
Oh, my gosh.
Ray from Rahway, thanks for joining us. You're going to be playing against caller number two. Caller number two, what's your name? Where are you from?
I am Jesse from Louisville, Texas. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Wow, I love that, Jesse.
You know what's fun? And I can't make heads or tails of it. Sometimes we have two listeners. Both of them are from South Carolina.
Yep.
Shout out South Carolina
Shout out
Public
South
Radio.
Carolina. That's right.
Shout out.
Sometimes no one's from South Carolina, and I can't make heads or tails of it, but I love it. I love that our show is being listened to, as far as I can understand, all 50 states.
All 50 states and in other continents,
yeah.
even, Brand.
Big in Australia.
That's exactly right.
Aussie,
So we've
Aussie,
got
Aussie.
Texas.
Who, what, when?
Rise of Blades.
Yeah. Perfect for the children's book
here we
episode.
go.
Rise of Blades.
Jesse from Texas, Ray from Rahway, New Jersey. Jesse, how you feeling about the category children's lit?
I am excited, kind of nervous. Holes is my favorite, I guess. I don't know if I'd call it a children's book, but a young adult book. My son had to read it for school, and I read it, and I went, wow, this is a really well-crafted, entertaining story.
Can I tell you something? Holes is great. I read it to my children. It's amazing.
Stanley spelled
That's
backwards.
right. Also, both contestants chose a book that are in this game somewhere.
Wow. How about that?
Ray from New Jersey, Jesse from Texas. It's so nice to meet both of you. We're going to start with a game we're calling Who, What, Where the Child Things Are.
And I know that is based on the Caldecott winner. Jesse and Ray, the game is all about celebrities who have written children's books. For each question, we'll give you the synopsis of kids' books, along with 3 stars who may have written it. Tell us the correct famous author. You're going to get yourself a point.
Ray, the first question is yours here on Who, What, Where the Child Things Are. They may call her the Queen of Christmas because of her decades-long chart-topping Christmas hit, but this pop singer of hits like Always Be My Baby also authored the festive children's book, The Christmas Princess. Is that A, Whitney Houston, B, Toni Braxton, or C, Mariah Carey?
Well, honestly, the only part of that question that sticks out to me is Queen of Christmas. That's got to be Mariah Carey. I mean, All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's got to be right.
It's got to be Mariah Carey, and it's got to be correct. Ray is on the board. That's Mariah Carey. Did you know she wrote a book? No, because you don't know books, obviously. I forgot.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know. Honestly, kudos to her for not doing the obvious thing and naming the book after the big hit
She
song.
did that with a cartoon movie.
Well, there you
where
go.
She did it's a movie. She can't find her dog. That's the movie. My kids have watched it. But the book, different altogether. So kudos to her for branching out.
The Christmas Princess.
Ray, you're on the board here. Jesse, your first question about celebrities that also wrote kids' books. Here we go. Co-authored with Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon, the children's book Con Pollo, a bilingual playtime adventure featuring a chicken named Pollo who just wants to play, was written by this bilingual dual threat of music and movies who burst onto the scene in 1997 playing Tejano music icon Selena. Is that A, Jennifer Lopez, B, Salma Hayek, or C, Selena Gomez?
Wow. All 3 of those names, I was thinking of it. So I'm going to go Selena Gomez.
He's going to go Selena Gomez. Incorrect.
Oh, no.
We're looking for J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez is who we're looking
that?
for. So
Wow.
a misstep early. However,
Just to understand it though, really quick. The chicken's name is Pollo.
Pollo is the name of, it would be like you being
How'd they come
inhuman.
up with
That's
that?
exactly right.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good stuff.
So Jesse, an early misstep. There's plenty of game left to be played. Ray, let's see if you can take a commanding lead here early on. Who, What, Where the Child Things Are. Celebrities that wrote kids' books. Here we go. During pandemic isolation, this star of Step Up, 21 Jump Street, and Magic Mike wrote a children's book for his then 7-year-old daughter entitled The One and Only Sparkella. As young Sparkella prepares to host her friend for a sleepover, with her dad helping however he can. Is that A, Matt Bomer, B, Matthew McConaughey, or C, Channing Tatum?
Wow. It's, I feel like you come on a trivia show, you think I'm going to show off what I know, and all I'm doing is learning. So far, I had no idea he wrote a book. I've not heard about this at all, but he's hilarious in the 21 Jump Street movies. That's going to be C, Channing Tatum.
C, Channing Tatum is correct.
Very good.
Exactly right. It's 2-0. Ray's up early.
Sounds like a wonderful book.
It does sound like a really good book.
Give that a read.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Add it to the list.
Jesse from Louisville, Texas, a chance to get on the board here. Here's your next question. This rom-com superstar and Academy Award-winning June Carter Cash portrayer is also a mom of 3 with a successful book club for adults. On top of that, she made her children's lit debut, aptly titled Busy Betty, about a girl challenged with giving her dog Frank a bath. Is that A, Kate Hudson, B, Sarah Jessica Parker, or C, Reese Witherspoon?
I am a big fan of her book club. Multiple times the novels she has picked, C, Reese Witherspoon, and I've enjoyed each one of them. So, yeah.
C, Reese Witherspoon is correct. Reese Witherspoon's book club, pretty famous. Not Oprah level, but probably next
right
up
there,
on the list.
I think. Yeah, I've even heard of that one in the past 24 hours.
Absolutely. Yes, of course you have. Yeah, you've learned a lot. You've really immersed yourself in the world of books.
Really, I did not. I did not sleep.
All right, Jesse's on the board. Ray, it's back to you. Let's see if you can regain a 2-point lead. Your next question here about celebrities that also wrote a kid's book. Actress Gabrielle Union co-authored Shady Baby, a book about confronting bullies, with her husband, who also happens to be this former NBA champion superstar from the Miami Heat that won titles with the likes of Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James on his teams. Is that A, Tim Duncan, B, Dwayne Wade, C, Kevin Durant?
Ooh, okay. Not a basketball guy, but I think that's going to be Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is incorrect.
Wow.
This would have been the one Brand would have known.
I would have
in
gotten
books.
this one.
Yeah. We're looking for D. Wade. Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat.
That's right.
Who won a championship with Shaq and with LeBron.
Shaq on the tail end of his career.
That's right. And Gabrielle Union, to be clear, prolific as an actress and a writer. She's written more than just this one kids book. All right, Jesse, a chance early on. The doors creaked back open for you to tie up Ray from New Jersey. Here's your next question about celebrities that wrote kids books. This Lizzie McGuire, Cadet Kelly Disney child megastar has seen a recent resurgence with a new album and tour. In between those two career tentpoles, she authored My Brave Little Girl, a children's book about her daughter. Is that A, Hilary Duff, B, Lindsay Lohan, or C, Haley Steinfeld?
I'm gonna go with A.
He's gonna go with A, Hilary Duff, and he's gonna be correct.
Now, Dan, I had the joy of showing Cadet Kelly to you.
That's right.
And we had a wonderful time.
It's a pretty solid movie.
There you go.
Gary Cole in there. Really fun time.
Hilary Duff,
That's exactly right.
wonderful. I'm glad she's back.
The Hilary Duff-assance is back in full swing. It now, also, we got a tie game here. Ray and Jesse both vying for the title of Who What When Champion of the Week. We're talking children's literature. We're talking celebrities that have also written children's books. Ray, your next question starts right now. On the 50th anniversary of the release date of the classic children's book Corduroy, about a stuffed bear without a button, this South Carolina-born Academy Award-winning powerhouse actress of Doubt, Fences, The Help, and others released Corduroy Takes a Bow, featuring the characters from the original exploring the theater. Is that A, Viola Davis, B, Octavia Spencer, or C, Andy McDowell?
Oh man, this is a tough one. Ooh man, I'm gonna go with B, Octavia Spencer.
B, Octavia Spencer is Ray's guess, and it is incorrect. Yikes! We're looking for Viola Davis. Viola Davis, which pretty awesome that she did this. I think she got
how do you do that?
I think she bought the rights to the book.
Wow,
I'm not positive. But I was unaware of this before finding this information out. And I can't wait. Like, I read Corduroy to my kids. Yeah. It's a great book. Amazing. So
also
I
one of my favorite fabrics.
Yeah, okay, good. One of them? What are some of your others?
Silk.
He hasn't heard of He hasn't heard of books, folks. It's the guy that loves silk and corduroy, Brandon Gray. All right, Jesse, all of a sudden, how the tables have turned. A chance to take the lead here, talking celebrities that wrote children's books. Here's your next question. This legendary hip-hop singer, songwriter, and producer has won 13 Grammys and also produced the soundtrack for much of the Despicable Me franchise. He turned his hit song Happy into a children's book dedicated to his then 7-year-old son, a book that celebrates the many different ways you can be happy. Is that A, Bruno Mars, B, Pharrell Williams, or C, Will.i.am?
So, as you were reading this, I was thinking Pharrell, right? So I'm going to go with B. I think that is because I feel like Bruno Mars may have sang Happy, but I think it's B.
He thinks it's B, Pharrell Williams, and he is correct. You'll be happy to know you've taken the lead, Jesse. What a comeback. Early still. He's got the lead by one. Tons of game
left.
Nothing
feral about him.
Nothing feral about him. That's right. Rat's going to make the show. Ray, all of a sudden you're down one. A chance to tie this thing back up with your last question of the round. Let's see if you can name this celebrity that also wrote a children's book. This original American Idol, Grammy winner, and talk show host's first picture book for her daughter began as a memory journal of their trips together and became River Rose and the Magical Lullaby, a story about a little girl too excited to fall asleep before a trip to the zoo.
Oh.
Is that A, Jordan Sparks, B, Pink, or C, Kelly Clarkson?
The American Idol bit gave this one away. Didn't know she wrote a book either. It sounds adorable.
It does.
That's C, Kelly Clarkson.
C, Kelly Clarkson is correct. It does sound adorable.
How about that?
Ray's back. The game's tied. Jesse, a chance to finish off this round with the lead. Here's your last question of the round. This NBA player has started a school for his hometown of Akron, Ohio, starred in a Space Jam sequel, and won NBA championships with 3 different teams. But he's also the author of the New York Times bestseller, I Promise, a book for kids about setting goals and working hard. Is that A, Michael Jordan, B, LeBron James, C, Kobe Bryant?
So who had the connection of NBA and writers on
I
this?
know,
We've got
right?
2. Yes, this has to be LeBron James.
It is LeBron James. That is correct. Jesse finishing the round strong.
You're listening to Who, What, When. I'm Brandon Gray here with my co-host Daniel Thompson. This week, we're exploring the history of children's literature.
That's right, Bran. Our contestants, Jesse and Ray, are off to a great start with their first round. Hopefully, they can keep that going in our next game.
That's coming up right after this break here on Who, What, When.
Welcome back to Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my co-host, Brandon Gray, and this week we have quizzes about the history of children's literature from classics all the way to modern day.
And before we get to our next round, Dan, a reminder that you, yes, you listener at home, can be a future contestant on Who, What, When. Just call or text us, 803-470-6347. Or if you'd rather, you can send us an email, whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
We've got 2 wonderful contestants with us today, Ray from New Jersey and Jesse from Texas. They're basically neck and neck right now, so we'll see who comes out on top after a game we're calling Bad Newspaper Headline Spoilers, Children's Lit Edition.
Oh, I can already tell it's going to be fun, Dan.
I'm glad you feel that way, Bran, because you'll be helping out with this one. Jesse and Ray, this game takes us back to the time of newspaper boys shouting about the day's big news, so you would read all about it in their paper. Bran here, who loves the Newsies, is going to do his best old-timey newsy impression to tell you about 10 headlines we've written based on famous children's classics.
That's right, and you're going to be given 3 possible answers as to which book I'm talking about. Choose the correct book. The point is yours, and you can seize the day, Dan.
I love it, Bran. Ray, Jesse, do you understand how this game's going to work?
Yep.
Yep, understand.
Perfect. Ray, the first question here, Bad Newspaper Headline Spoilers, Children's Lit Edition, is yours. Bran, take it away.
Extra, extra! Spider dies of old age while helping pig win contest. E.B. White has the story.
Spider dies of old age while helping pig win contest. E.B. White has the story. Is that A, The Very Busy Spider, B, Charlotte's Web, or C, Spinderella?
I wish that it was Spinderella. That's phenomenal. I hope there's a children's book iteration of Salt and Peppa's DJ. No, that is going to be Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web is correct. He's
nice.
on the board again, and he's tied the game up. All right, Jesse, Bad Newspaper Headline Spoilers. Bran's got yours coming up right now.
Extra, extra! Italian marionette puppet feels bad about lying because of a talking cricket. Carlo Collodi with more.
Is that A, Parrot Trick Tango, B, Pinocchio, C, Jazz Cats?
Oh, I so want to watch the movie Jazz Cats.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
But we're going to wish upon a star and say Pinocchio.
Pinocchio is correct. They're 2 for 2 here. This is fun. You're doing an amazing job,
Thank you.
Bran. You're doing amazing work. Ray, your next newspaper headline spoiler of a children's book starts right now. Bran, take it away.
Breaking news! Insect overeats for 7 straight days and is shocked to find out he's now skinnier. Eric Carle has more.
Is that A, the tiny seed, B, brown bear, where are you? Or C, the very hungry caterpillar?
I love this book. I love the illustrations. That's Eric Carle's Very Hungry Caterpillar.
He got the question about his favorite book.
How about
I mean,
that?
it's
What are the
fake.
odds?
Wild.
That is correct. I'm really proud of that read, too. He eats for 7 straight days, finds out he's skinny.
That's crazy.
You get it, because he's a butterfly.
Well, that's the whole thing.
You see. Jesse, it's tied up. We're back to you. Bran's going to read you in a very important headline spoiler about a children's book. Bran, take it away.
Read all about it. Maniac confectioner kills, maims, shrinks, and inflates spoiled children for the amusement, musical inspiration of his extraterrestrial staff. Roald Dahl's reporting.
Is that A, the BFG, B, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or C, the Candy Smash?
The true villain of this movie is the grandparents, especially Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
But yes, I will say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is correct. I had to make sure, because these are books, that all the stuff that happens in the movie actually happens in the book. And so I did the research, and it does, and that's very disheartening that he's doing this in the book. There you go.
I couldn't possibly get out of bed.
All right. Well,
but for chocolate.
With chocolate? All right, Jesse, you've reclaimed the lead. Ray, a chance to tie it back up. Here's your next bad newspaper headline spoiler straight from Bran.
Extra, extra. Boy mouths off to his mom and has to sail to foodless wild rumpus with nice monsters before he could eat his dinner. Maurice Sendak with more.
Is that Outside Over There, 7 Little Monsters, or Where the Wild Things Are?
Love this book. The movie gave me just weird feelings when that came out. It was just like heavy and strange. I loved it, but really, really out there. This is Where the Wild Things Are.
Where the Wild Things Are is correct. Recently, I believe Rolling Stone said the best children's book of all time.
Wow.
And I got to be honest, pretty amazing.
It's a slapper, so I've heard.
Yeah, so you've heard. You don't know. You don't know anything about books, obviously. Jesse, it's tied back up. Here's your next newspaper headline spoiler of a children's book, courtesy of our newsie, Bran.
Breaking news! Bunny gets loved to death before having his IP stolen by the Toy Story franchise. Marjorie Williams reporting.
Is that A, the Velveteen Rabbit, B, the Rabbit Problem, C, the Tale of Peter Rabbit?
Wow, good question. I'm going to go with A, Velveteen Rabbit.
He's going to go with A, the Velveteen Rabbit, and he's going to be correct. Bran, Velveteen, how you there?
Honestly, take it or leave it.
Really?
Yeah.
More of a silk corduroy kind of guy.
100%.
Got it. Cool. All right, Ray, you're down 1. It's starting to get late early. You're going to need this one. Bad newspaper headline spoilers about children's books, read courtesy of Newsy Brandon Gray. Take it away, Brant.
Read all about it here. Child dodges black spot and ends up with a valuable map that he unfortunately trusts to ship's cook and talking parrots. Robert Louis Stevenson is on the scene.
Is that A, Swiss Family Robinson, B, Treasure Island, or C, The Night Pirates?
In my probably top 50 movies is the Muppet
Heck
version
yeah.
of this book, which is B, Treasure Island.
Dude, not only are you correct, Ray, and you've tied the game, but what's important here is that you love Muppet Treasure Island. And I got to be honest, everybody talks about Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol, and he's amazing. Tim Curry, give the man an Oscar. Tim Curry in Muppet Treasure Island is giving a performance for the ages. When he talks to Jim Hawkins at the end of that and the tears are in his eye, it's unbelievable. And you've also got some classic songs like Cabin Fever and whatnot. Clueless the Goat, come on. Roll Call. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Ray, you're correct. Jesse, the game is tied. Back to you. We're talking children's lit book spoiled by a 1920s newspaper headline courtesy of Newsy Brandon Gray. Your next question starts right now.
Extra, extra, farm girl with ruby accents leads ragtag band of misfits to unknowingly defeat the good guy. L. Frank Baum with more.
Is that A, Alice in Wonderland, B, The Wizard of Oz, C, The Phantom Toll Booth?
I am just sitting here thinking I love that version of the Phantom Toll Booth, but I am going to say Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz is correct. Don't sleep on the Phantom Toll Booth, a great kids book. Wizard of Oz is correct, Jesse, and you have the lead back again. Ray, your last question of the round. It's a must-get to tie this thing up. Your last question, read by a newsie from 100 years ago, spoiling the book, starts right now.
Breaking news!
What the?
Yelnats family curse tied to unfortunate dry heat digging detention camp for minors. Louis Sasha has the scoop.
A, The Secret Order of the Gum Street Girls. B, The Mysterious Benedict Society. Or C, Holes.
Stanley spelled backwards is Yelnats. That's Holes. C.
That is Holes. He got Jesse's favorite book as his last question, and Ray has tied it up. He did what he needed to do, which means, Jesse, it all comes down to this. You have one question left. It's the last question of the round. We're talking children's literature read as a bad newspaper headline spoiler. You get it right, you're our Who What When champion of the week. Bran, take it away.
Read all about it here. AIs turn sentient, talks to animals, and realizes the great self-sacrifice of motherhood. Peter Brown with more.
Is that A, The Wild Robot, B, A Kind of Spark, or C, The Invention of Hugo Cabret?
I was reluctant to watch this movie, and finally someone recommended to it, and I adored The Wild Robot. So I'm going to go with A.
The Wild Robot is correct. I bawled like a baby during The Wild Robot. As an adoptive parent, that movie spoke to my soul. Jesse is correct, which means he has 9, Ray has 8, and Jesse from Louisville, Texas is our Who What When champion of the week. And what a game he played. But before we move any further with Jesse, Ray, hats off to you, sir. 8 of 10 correct answers. You fought valiantly and came up just a little short. But thanks so much for playing Who What When with us.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Great meeting you, Ray. Loved it.
You too, man. Good luck in the final.
This is Who What When. I'm Brandon Gray here with my friend Daniel Thompson, and this week we're looking back at the history of children's literature.
We sure are, Brandon. Our contestant, Jesse from Texas, has come out of the first 2 rounds as our Who What When champion of the week, and now things get serious. He has a chance at our very special prize, that sweet, sweet Who What When fanny pack.
Let's see if he can do it, but first, we'll speak with a couple of educators about sharing children's literature with the world. That's next, after this break on Who What When.
Welcome back to Who What When, an hour of history, games, and trivia here on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. This week, Dan, we're escaping into the pages of many classic books with this episode all about children's literature. And we're going to return to our quizzes here in just a few moments. But first, it's time for our occasional Educator Spotlight.
It sure is, Bran. Every so often, we like to speak with an expert from the world of academia to take a closer look at the subjects we're discussing. And today, we're joined by 2 of those subject matter experts.
Wow.
We have Valerie Byrd and Margaret Jackson, 2 instructors from the University of South Carolina's College of Information and Communications who specialize in library sciences, specifically children's books. Margaret, Valerie, welcome to Who, What, When.
Thank you.
It's always fun when there's two. You never know what's going to happen. It's very exciting. It is great to see you both. We've already mentioned quite a few very famous books today, covering a wide range of genres, styles, age groups that they're intended for. So this umbrella of children's literature is pretty large. But how do you define what would fall under that umbrella of children's literature?
So I think children's literature is literature that children enjoy. It can be written specifically for children, or sometimes maybe not, but children's literature is literature for children. It's what they enjoy reading. So it can be for a specific age group, but maybe it's just what they've decided they want to read. And it's not necessarily something we would consider to be children's literature. But Margaret, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I also think that children's literature encompasses any book where a kid can see themselves reflected, or they can see the many fantastic possibilities around them.
I love that. I love both of those definitions.
It's a great
in
definitions.
fact. Let me ask you this about the history of children's literature, specifically here in the United States. Early children's literature was primarily instructional. Like I'm thinking of like New England primers or just books that were designed to teach either quote unquote moral lessons or academic lessons to children. When did that transition happen where it goes from more of a drier academic necessity to an entertainment where we can have these books where still to this day, my twin boys can find a lot of entertainment out of a book as much as they can a screen, thank goodness. So when did that happen?
Well, I learned this from a children's book, actually, Balderdash. It's a book about John Newbery, and he was one of the first publishers of children's books. And he thought to himself, you know, kids will enjoy reading books, not just learning from them. So let me see if I can sell books for kids. And he would publish smaller books that were, you know, fairy tales, folk tales, and they would be sold with a toy. And so there was that kind of added incentive to purchase because if the kiddo did not enjoy the book, well, they had the toy to play with. So I believe that's when the switch was made.
It's kind of like a Happy Meal.
Kind of like a Happy Meal.
Yeah. That's very nice. Now, you mentioned kind of this idea that children's books aren't necessary, like they are any book that a child might enjoy. Are there authors that come to mind when we think about children's authors that maybe they didn't intend to write a book for children, but now they're kind of known as being a children's literature author?
An author that comes to mind who has said that he didn't necessarily mean to write for children is Maurice Sendak. He just, as he was writing, children enjoyed his books, and our publishers said, hey, these books are going to be great for kids, but he didn't necessarily intend or have children in mind when he was writing initially. So Maurice Sendak comes to mind, and I'm sure there are others who didn't necessarily intend to write for children, but that's who ended up enjoying their books. And as far as like adult books go that children may enjoy, you know, when you have a book that is like, you know, we may consider quote unquote a coffee table book that's got all kinds of pictures in it. And I think that kids are drawn to all of those bright colors and photographs. So it just kind of depends. But I think like an author specifically that I know of who has mentioned that is Maurice Sendak.
Fascinating. I mean, Where the Wild Things Are, like maybe the most known kids book of all time. Margaret, you're currently the coordinator of the Cocky's Reading Express at the University of South Carolina. This is a youth literacy outreach program that features USC's famous mascot, Cocky the Gamecock. Tell us more about Cocky's Reading Express.
Yeah, so Cocky's Reading Express travels to Title I elementary schools across the state. We do storytime programs for pre-K through 5th grade. These are really high-energy storytime programs. So there's singing, there's dancing, and of course, there's read-alouds alongside Cocky. So we read all kinds of interactive children's books, and sometimes we read books that maybe aren't necessarily intended to be interactive, but we kind of flip them on their heads so that kids can get literacy and stories inside their bodies, and really just see how fun reading can be. The most important thing is that every single kid gets to pick a book to take home to keep forever at the end of our program. So we are working to increase access to high quality children's books while also fostering a love of reading.
Very cool. And when you teach on children's literature in the classroom, what are some of the classic works, the canon, if you will, that you like to touch on in the classroom, and why are those important works to touch upon when teaching about it?
So when we're thinking about like the history of children's literature and things, we touch upon some really important works. I mean, one thing that we didn't really talk about was like the golden age of children's literature, back when we kind of realized that kids could be kids and we had this protected space of imagination. So when we start getting things like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Peter Pan and Mary Poppins, where the fantastic happens, like, I know every kid has read The Cat in the Hat. And so basically, when I'm encountering undergrads, their frame of reference for children's books is always Dr. Seuss, who is very important for his time because, you know, he was kind of reacting to those Dick and Jane books and trying to make things fun, maybe a little silly. And then all my students have read things like Goodnight Moon, by Margaret Weiss Brown, or they've read The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. And often when we're working on our projects, you will see them try and return to those books time and time again because they have all of these really special memories that they've shared with their parents, and those early moments of read alouds. So when we're working with these college students, we are of course touching upon those really important books that were important both to them and to the history of children's literature, but we're also trying to introduce them to new books. So books that can be in conversation with those classics that they love so much.
Yeah, I think that leads very well into my next question, which is it does seem like we're in a children's lit boom right now. Bran and I wrote a children's book and we published it ourselves that was just an ode to our children that we have at the house. And there are so many books to choose from, self-published or in the bookstore. It's not like you only have a few options that all end up becoming classics.
Anyone can put it out. That's
right.
Proof is us. We did it.
It's called When's It Going to Be Christmas Again? You can go to Amazon right now if you'd like. We mentioned earlier that many celebrities are writing children's books. That was a whole game we played on this show earlier. How does an author break through that noise, or what kind of constitutes making like a new classic? Like, is there something specific, or is it something we can only tell happened maybe 20 years after it happened?
I really think one thing that's pretty cool with the huge sea of children's books is that there's really something for everyone. And as grown-ups, it's sort of our job to help kids find their way to those books that are going to speak to them. So that's something that's exciting to me. Obviously, our awards have like special criteria. So you recognize books based on those merits.
Like, you don't necessarily have to be 20 years away to kind of see a classic. It's when they are published, it's almost like you can spot what will be a future classic right away. Because one that I am thinking of is The Pigeon. Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. The Willems, right? When that came out, like, I knew right away, like, this is a book I'm going to be reading for the rest of my life to every group of children I see, because it's just so funny. Kids love it. They relate to it. I think it really is just authors and illustrators who understand children. I think that those are the books that make the biggest impact and can be kind of instant classics. I think there are a handful of authors out there right now that when they write something, Mo Willems being one of them, generally, it's going to be pretty good because he understands children, I think, and understands what they enjoy and what they want to read, what they want to see, what makes them laugh. So I think there's a lot that goes into like a classic, but I don't think you have to be years and years away from them to spot it.
This might be a tricky question because we're kind of in uncharted territories right now, but it seems like kids now have access to more screens than ever before with phones and tablets and all of that. Has there been a shift in recent years as to like how books are being written, the colors that are potentially being used in the illustrations, or anything like that that we can point to as a, hey, we want kids to continue to love books, even though there's a million different things that they could be doing? Or are kids' books kind of, we want to put out good books, and it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily the time that we're in?
I mean, I think that a lot of the books that are coming out now are reflecting the diversity of our world, but you're also seeing a lot more graphic novels. So some of those books that we read when we were kids that are classics, like Magic Tree House or something like that, like is now been adapted to become a graphic novel because kids are connecting to graphic novels, and we know that even though they have illustrations in them, that they're valuable tools for learning and that they have more rare words in them than sometimes even chapter books have. So I would say that we really do see a lot of graphic novels, and I see a lot of kids that prefer to read graphic novels, and I see teachers that are recognizing the value of graphic novels.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And I think that's like, I think books are still books, and books are wonderful and are going to continue to be published. But in terms of any changes that are noticeable because of the increase in screens, it probably is that idea of the increase in graphic novels, because not only are they, appealing, they're colorful. They are redoing these novels and series in graphic form. And it's, you don't need as long of an attention span always. Sometimes you do, depending on the graphic novel. They're almost quicker to kind of go through. It's that kind of instant gratification that you get from a screen. But I don't want to lessen the importance of graphic novels in any way by saying that, because they are all incredibly important, and they are definitely real reading. And as long as a kid enjoys them, then why not?
Yeah, that's a great, honestly, I've never, my 8-year-old loves a graphic novel, and I've never thought of the correlation. That's really interesting.
What are some of your current favorite authors or illustrators? And this could be a kid's book, or could be for the kid in all of us, or just for entertainment. What's a couple of books that we should be checking out or should have heard of if we haven't?
I'm really obsessed with X Fang right now. I love the book Broken, and We Are Definitely Human, which is about aliens. Cool. And she also has an upcoming collaboration with Mac Barnett, who is, of course, one of our faves here at Skill, who just came out with the book The Future that was illustrated by Sean Harris. Those are some books that I think I've been talking about a lot, and that I could read over and over again and really appreciate the visual storytelling in them. So the illustrations and the story they're amazing. They're hilarious. They're unique.
Yeah, I was going to mention Mac Barnett, of course. I think that we are mutual fans of Mac Barnett. The Future book is amazing. He also has one coming out for adults that is about children's literature. So that is definitely one to watch for. I love reading graphic novels personally. I have recently finished Fruitcake by Rex Ogle. It's Rex Ogle's newest graphic novel. Rex Ogle is one of my favorite authors. I love Melinda Lowe. She wrote The Last Night at the Telegraph Club. That is a novel more for young adults, not for children, but it is also one of my favorites.
Good recommendations.
Great recommendations. Margaret Jackson and Valerie Byrd Fort are educators who specialize in library sciences at the College of Information and Communication at the University of South Carolina. Valerie and Margaret, thank you so much for joining us right here on Who What When.
Thanks for having us.
This is Who What When, an hour of history, games, and trivia from South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson here with my good buddy Brandon Gray. From the classics to the contemporary, our topic this week is the history of children's literature.
And before we get to our final game, one quick reminder that we would love for you to join us as a contestant on a future episode of this here program. All you got to do is call us Or text us, 803-470-6347. Dan, the number's the same regardless, call or text, if you can believe it. Or you can send us an email, whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
Now, Brent, let me set the stage for you. Our contestant, Jesse from Texas, has made it through our first 2 rounds to become the Who What Win Champion of the Week. Congrats, Jesse. Now things get real. He has the chance to take home our weekly trophy, the Who What Win Fanny Pack. It all comes down to our final round in a game we're calling James and the Lion Peach.
I like that. Jesse, this game is all about Roald Dahl, who, along with being one of the most celebrated children's authors, lived a very interesting life. Former history teacher Dan has mixed real stories from Dahl's life with equally wild ones that he made up for each story. We just need you to tell us if it's true or false. It's that simple, Dan.
It's that simple. You'll need 5 correct answers here to secure that fanny pack. Here's your first story in James and the Lion Peach. During World War II, Roald Dahl was a pilot for England. He flew a Gloucester Gladiator over Libya in 1940, ran out of fuel because he was given the incorrect coordinates, and had to crash land, fracturing his skull, crushing his nose, and causing temporary blindness.
Oh, no.
Is that true or false?
I'm so going to say I want that to be true.
He wants it to be true. And it is true. Roald Dahl survived an actual plane crash.
Wow.
Jesse's on the board. Roald Dahl is just a man among boys out here.
Jesse's out here being like, I want that guy
I want that guy to crash.
Misery.
Yeah. Jesse, that's correct.
Yes.
You got 1. You need 4 more for that fanny pack. Here's your next question on James and the Lion Peach. During World War II, Dahl also was a part of a group of spies in the United States called the Baker Street Irregulars, who worked secretly to sway public opinion in the States in favor of helping the Allies and supporting any pro-British sentiment, passing along any pertinent information to MI6. Is that true or false?
Gosh, Dan, that sounds true, but it feels like that's too much in World War II, so I'm going to say false.
It does feel that way. He says false, but it's true, actually. The guy crashes a plane in 1940, temporarily blind, goes to the United States and becomes a spy in 1942.
Pretty good.
Roald Dahl was wild. We're only 2 in. You got 1 right. You need 4 more for that fanny pack. Long way to go. Plenty of answers out there on the board. Next question here on James and the Lion Peach. Throughout the entirety of his 43 works, including all of his 19 full-length novels, Roald Dahl never learned to type on a typewriter. He wrote everything by hand with a pencil and paper, or pencil and pad, allowing someone else to type the final manuscript.
Wow.
Is that true or false?
This is where you get in your head, right?
Right, Jesse, yeah.
How many are going to be true? How many are going to be false?
Tales old as time.
I'm going to say is true.
He's going to say it's true. Would I dare make 3 true questions to start it? I would. That is true.
How about that?
Roald Dahl is out here crashing planes and being a spy. Couldn't type. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can you imagine writing a full-length novel with pencil in a notepad mostly?
I also just that's a lot of work. I can't imagine it was neat handwriting. Shout out to the manuscriptor. I don't know what you would call him.
Typer.
The typist.
Maybe? The typer.
Out
what I
there.
said, like a doofus.
The typist out there doing the Lord's work.
All right, Jesse, you got 2 right. You need 3 more for that fanny pack. We're seeing if these stories about Roald Dahl are true or false. Here's your next story. Roald Dahl resisted partnering with candy companies after the success of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, although he did have talks with the confectioners at Mars Candy Corporation in 1970 to see if they could craft an actual everlasting gobstopper before the 1971 release of the Gene Wilder film based on Dahl's book. True or false?
Okay, now you're really in my head because will we do 4 truths in a row? We've seen some, I remember seeing some of those candies, but I don't know. I'm going to go with the odds and say that it's false.
He's going with the odds that I would not dare. 4 truths in a row. And he, in this case anyway, is correct.
Oh, wow.
It is false. He did not do that.
But
Jesse's on the board again.
There's
Since
been
then, there
Wonka
have
bars,
been,
correct?
There's a lot of Wonka branded candy.
Yeah.
But I tried to trick you with one that was just normal. Do you know what I mean? I tried to get a business deal going to brand the movie. All right, Jesse, you are correct. That means you got 3 right. You need 2 more for the vaunted Who What
You
Win
got
fanny
this,
pack.
Jesse.
It's getting real. Tell me if this next story about Roald Dahl is true or false. A year before his death, Roald Dahl was shown the first ever Wallace and Gromit stop-motion film by Nick Park called A Grand Day Out. Dahl loved the work and agreed to voice the character of Wallace in future installments before unfortunately becoming sick in the latter half of 1990 and eventually passing away. Is that true or false?
This is where you got to think about the timeline. Would that line up? And I'm going to say false, but I don't feel good about it. I'm not confident.
He's going to say false, and he doesn't feel good about it. It does line up with the timeline because I made sure it did, but it is false.
Oh,
Jesse is correct. Wow.
How about that?
So what we've got now is we're in end game here.
Yeah.
Next one right, Jesse walks away with a fanny pack. There are 3 left. All he's got to do is get 1 more right.
Big. I feel good about this, Jesse. I believe in you.
Here we go, Jesse. Your next question here on James and the Lion Peach. In 1971, Roald Dahl received a letter from a postal worker in the state of Nebraska who was named Willy Wonka.
Oh, no.
And was named so before Dahl's novel was ever published. Roald Dahl was so thrilled to hear about it because he thought he'd made up the name, altering it from a childhood boomerang game he played called Skilly Wonka.
Skilly Wonka.
Is that true or false?
I, as someone who shares the name of a famous person, Jesse Jackson, I want this to be true. So I'm going to say true.
He wants it to be true. Is that enough for it to be true? It is enough for it to be true. Skilly
How about
Wonka,
that?
a real thing. Jesse
Skilly
from
Wonka.
Louisville, Texas. Not only are you the Who What Win Champion of the Week, you also are now the proud future owner of a Who What Win fanny pack. Congratulations, sir. A well-played game. Give us some thoughts on how you're feeling.
I was sitting here going, the odds. There's 3 questions left. There's a 50-50 on each quest. I only need to get a third of so I'm thrilled. I was really nervous that I would stumble because you never know what the topic's going to be. So I am feeling very proud. Hey, I'm ready for a great weekend now because I've conquered.
Yeah, the
Enjoy
Bourbon
that
Trail is
Bourbon
calling.
Trail.
Jesse,
Yes.
congratulations. You did it. Thanks for playing. Who What Win.
Jesse won his fanny pack.
It's a real one, though. Good for you. Jesse, congratulations, sir.
Thank you, guys.
And that closes the book on this episode about the history of children's literature. Thanks again to our contestants Ray and Jesse for playing with us today. And one more congratulations to Jesse for winning the title of Champion of the Week.
Our producer is A.T. Shire. Our executive producer is Sean Birch, who Clifford the Big Red Dog is based on.
Oh.
This show is a production of South Carolina Public Radio, made possible in part by listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
Join us for a future episode of Who What Win. Just call or text us at 803-470-6347 or send an email to whowhatwin@scpublicradio.org.
You can find out more about the show at our website, whowhatwinshow.org.
And you can listen to an extended version of the show in your favorite podcast app or through your smart speaker.
I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Join us again next week for more history, games, and trivia right here on Who What Win?